Hello everybody, this is DrMcBrick and I am here with two sets from Medievalbrick. Now they sent me these many months ago actually, and through COVID and through a whole bunch of other issues that we had in our house, I'm just getting around to building these. So I'm going to build them now and review them for you here, and I'm also going to use them in my Figwood Forest medieval build. So I thought that that would kill two birds with one stone. And for those of you who love birds, I'm sorry for that reference. So when I opened them up, I opened up the second package, and lo and behold, there were two kits inside. There was a great Viking ship and another building. So that is awesome. So I have three kits to review. I'm going to do separate reviews of each. And then if you remember, I did a review of Mead Hall, and I'll put that card right up at the top there. And I did a review of Mead Hall months ago. And I really like the medieval brick sets. I really do think that they're a quality. The designer is just fabulous in terms of the mock builder who they have licensed this from. And so anyway, so let's see here. I'll just do this one. I'll pick this one. Let's do the review on this. And then we will do the review on the others in the next video. Okay, the boxes are very nice. I like the box art, obviously. It's just a picture that's pasted on here, but that's nice. And when you open it up here, you get a lot of different things here. Now, I don't read Chinese, and you know I'm very hesitant to put a USB drive into my computer, regardless of where it comes from. I just don't like doing that, so I'll find an old computer that's not hooked up to the net, and I'll put this in there. Yeah, you can see the parts are bagged. They're not numbered or anything, but the nice thing is that they are, you know, similar to, I mean, in terms of similar parts, are in similar bags. And so I like that, and it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about sorting, things like that. You get your bags and your parts where they need to be, and when you need them and things like that. And oh, there's a little T-bone, little pig. I love the pigs, love the pigs. So anyway, that's what's happening in the box. We'll go ahead and start to build this puppy. Okay, so you see here, I'm working on the model. It's going really well. I like these bricks. I'm not sure where they source their bricks from, but I will tell you that I've don't have a problem with them at all. And as you can see, you know, they're very stable. The clutch power is very good. But with that said, one of the things that I would encourage you if you're working with non-Lego bricks, and even with Lego bricks too, but is to make sure that you have a mallet handy, because it's sometimes, and especially with non-Lego bricks like this that are sourced from elsewhere, it takes a little persuasion sometimes to get the bricks to go down on top of one another. And I've noticed that here, that there are a couple of different types of bricks that are a lot more difficult to join together. So you might want to keep that in mind as you go about doing that. But all in all, I mean, this is a real sturdy model, as you can see. And so the bricks themselves, you know, just to give you an idea, they're obviously not Lego brick. They're not printed with Lego on top. I'm not sure where they source them from, but they're good bricks. I don't really see any problem with them. And as, like I said, I mean, they go on, the clutch holds, all that kind of stuff. But you can tell just by hearing the snap that they're not quite up to 100% standards, right? I mean, you know, they're not really cheap, bricks, but I would say they're probably not in line. They're definitely not in the line of Lego or Oxford or something like that either. But they do the job, and ultimately that's what matters, right? Okay, here it is, the Longhouse, the medieval themed Viking Longhouse set. It's Mach 102557, and it is licensed and authorized by, and I'll tell you what, Brick Fans UI. He is, our Bricks Fan UI is really a great designer in terms of designing these medieval Viking sets. And he has done a whole bunch of them, as you know, and you can find those all on the Medievalbrick site. And a lot of times they'll have some sales and things like that on the site as well. So anyway, if you go to the site, yeah, before we take a look at the model, let's go to the site. So if you check out medievalbrick.com, you'll see that they have all kinds of medieval stuff. Anything you want, castles, medieval villages. They even have something called Street View, which is not necessarily a medieval theme, but it is a wonderful set of mocks nonetheless. You get 12% off if it's your first time. Hey, there's an Outpost medieval theme, and you can save $30 if you use the code BRICKS. So yeah, there's all kinds of medieval goodness on this particular site. You can see all of the stuff that I'm going to review, the Viking Village stuff. This designer and mock builder really knows how to do it. There's towers and ships. There are Mead Hall, which I've already reviewed. I'll put the card up above. And today I'm going to review the Longhouse model and the Longhouse set. And so you really see the quality of these sets come out, and they're relatively inexpensive. Now, if you were to take these sets, for instance, the Longhouse set that I'm going to review now, and if you were to actually build this set using Lego bricks, you probably would spend probably at least, you know, 3/4 more to purchase this set, where on medievalbricks.com, these sets are much more inexpensive, and you'll save a lot more money doing it using the bricks that they source. So I would encourage you to go to medievalbrick.com, check out the various things that they have. If you love castles, there's some beautiful castle mocks. Their Viking mocks are wonderful, as you'll see from my reviews. With that, let's go back to the build. Okay, we're back. Now, this is a traditional Viking Longhouse. Now, it gets its name because it's long, right? It's rectangular. It's a rectangular shape, and the Viking Longhouses were houses that were for holding livestock, doing arts and crafts, and living. And so it was all one house, one big room. And I'll show you that in a few minutes. The designer here, the mock designer, has done a great job of showing and suggesting that it is cold and it is snowing, and the snow is up on the roof and things of that nature. It's all looking really, really good in terms of the house itself. Now, you see these pillars here. These pillars are all over the place, all over the place. You would typically see this in a longhouse. And the reason being, well, at first I thought, you know what, maybe the Vikings really don't know how to build houses. They have to sturdy them up. Well, that's kind of true in a sense, because they built their houses out of anything they could find. Mostly wood, thatch, and various earthen materials that they would sod and things like that they could find in the villages in which they decided, or in the places they decided to make villages. Now this one, of course, the designer's done a great job of making it out of wood, and you can see all of the great goodness that comes out of the logs and the hewn wood and stuff like that. But these supports are attached. They're attached to the house, and it did get kind of tedious making all of these supports around the house. But it serves a purpose, because think about where the Vikings settled. The winds were unbelievable. Now, being in Florida and having gone through Hurricane Ian, which was just 1 mile per hour short of being a Category 5 hurricane, we got a lot of winds down here, and I can understand why they had these things to brace up their house. They even have kind of the medieval hurricane type shutters, right, to keep the wind out, that would go, and also let the air in once you know, the winds have gone away. But anyway, so that's why you see those being propped up. It helps to prop up the walls in the house, but it also helps it from falling down when the wind comes. And the designer has done a great job of suggesting snow and everything like that. They've done a little bit of foliage, but you see the foliage here. It shows it's still winter. It's not totally dead, but it's really not, you know, alive in a sense of being bright green and that Lego color, you know, obnoxious bright green. Now let's take a look at the inside. And this will give you even more insight into not only how the designer and the mock builder built this model, but also medieval times and the way Vikings lived. This is all one room, folks. This is all one room. So you think about somebody living here. Let's just grab my wife. I know that doesn't I guess I didn't sound very good. Let's just take my wife's minifigure right here. And she's a little out of focus, but she would go here and she would take care of the livestock. Okay, the pigs. She would slop the pigs with this shovel over here that the mock designer has. The hay would be over there. Feed the pigs. There's even some. There's a little a little poop right there, I guess. That sort of thing. They would feed their chickens and keep their chickens there in the center of the house. That's where they would live, and that's where people would cook, right? And the Vikings would cook. Now, I have to say, in this particular model, I really like the mock builder does a really good job of making these kind of skin rugs, right? And Vikings would have had a lot of skin rugs because they would use skins, obviously, for their clothes and to keep the ground, because a lot of times this is just dirt, to keep the dirt from being so cold. And so they would have these rugs right here and all over the place. The problem is this comes in about step 70 of building this model. Now, one thing that Lego does that Medievalbrick doesn't, or Medievalbrick doesn't do, is, or at least in this model, is build this kind of first. In other words, build the stuff on the floor first. My fat fingers and thumbs were very difficult at step 70 after all this stuff was built to go ahead and squeeze those little tiles down there. And I had to kind of take it almost apart on this whole part just to get this rug built. So I would recommend that, you know, in future versions, that maybe that step come a little sooner. Now, after my wife cooks and slops the hogs and stuff, and then she'd go to bed right over here on a hay bed, okay? Or the Viking would hang up his helmet and his shield. There's some supplies. I even put some mutton in there, that sort of thing. They would do crafts, make quilts, and do all kinds of artisanal type of stuff in this house. Now, I always wondered how come the Vikings were mean, right? Because they have a reputation for plundering and pillaging. Well, they lived with their livestock. Their livestock was inside their house. I mean, wouldn't that make you a little angry all the time if you had to constantly live with pigs and cows and all kinds of crap on the floor and all that sort of thing? Anyway, that made me pretty mad. Enough of that. I do like the way this is built. I think this is an excellent model. Once again, this designer, mock builder, has done a phenomenal job. He builds such wonderful Viking models. And I just have to hand it to them one more time. I'm going to do a review of 2 more of their Viking models from Medievalbrick. And so hopefully you will go and check them out on the website like we showed, and hopefully you'll buy some and put them in your medieval town as well. Now, the bricks, I'm not sure where they're sourced from, but like I said before, I would recommend using or having a mallet close by, because some of these bricks, to get them on and to get them to stick together, you really got to mess with them, and you really have to push them. And sometimes when you push them, especially when you're putting the roof pieces on and stuff, you push it, and we know how Lego and brick are, and Lego compatible bricks, and everything falls in, and you got to start over, right? And so it's very important that you know, you stick things together, because on a Lego set, which is the standard, if you're using Lego pieces to build this, then, you know, you just push them together and they stay, right? Well, these bricks, because I'd say, you know, they're not Lego, they're not Oxford quality, they're a little bit below, but they're definitely not cheap. Like I said before, they're good bricks, good solid bricks. They hold together. The clutch power is really good. Everything, you know, works out real well. But at the same time, you know, they're just not the fit and finish that you would have from a Lego brick type of built set. So, but for the money, you know what? I think this is a great deal. I think that if Medievalbrick keeps selling these types of models, and they sell them at the cheap prices that they're able to do, and when I say cheap, I don't mean cheap in terms of the actual sets. I mean inexpensive. If they sell them at the inexpensive prices that they normally do, I think they have a great business model going, and I think they have some amazing sets. And so I would recommend them highly. And you know, go and check them out. They have you know, other things that are also by other designers and things like that, and some other things on their sites that aren't necessarily even medieval in theme, I believe. So check them out. Thanks to them again for sending me this. Again, this is an honest review. I think it is a good set. If I were to grade it, if I were to think of maybe a Lego set just like this, or this Lego compatible set that's designed by a mock builder, that's authorized, that's legit, I would say that this definitely is a B+. You know, it's not perfect, but at the same time, it's more than perfect for what we as brick fans need. And so with that, I hope that you like this video. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share. I'm going to put up more videos of non-Lego sets, Lego compatible sets. Don't let that scare you away. Actually, I'm trying to be, you know, as fair as possible. As long as the set's legit and designed and authorized by legit people, then I think that all is fair. And you know what? Lego's getting so expensive, and they're pricing even people like me out of the market, and people who normally would be able to afford some of these sets with some of their extra income that they've, you know, earned over their life and stuff. But just, I'm not going to pay the crazy prices that they've been asking lately. So anyway, with that said, especially, I hope that, again, like this video, share it. Check out my merchandise store, DrMcBrick General Store on teespring.com. You can become a member of this channel if you like. I'll shut up now, and I'll let you go check out the Medieval Brick site and this particular longhouse. Stay tuned for the next video that comes out that will be another set from Medieval Brick. This is Dr. McBrick signing out.